blastmusic247.com. We're changing the industry one artist at a time.
Welcome to Moments with Myra, a space for reflection, storytelling, and transformative conversations. I'm your host, Myra. In honor of Women's History Month, we're spotlighting women who are creating healing and leading in ways that uplift communities and honor ancestral wisdom. Today, and y'all, I'm so excited. I'm trying to keep it together, but I'm super excited about my guests. But today, I'm joined by Marie, the alchemist. And when I say that, she is the alchemist and healing arts jeweler behind Adorned in Taji. Nay Marie was called into this work by her ancestors and guided by her own healing journey, crafting intentional, intuitive adornments, and they are that, designed to uplift the spirit, enhance personal power, and honor our cultural aesthetics. This episode is about intention, frequency, and reclaiming our personal power. Let's get into it. Nay Marie, thank you so much for being here with me. I am just so excited about this interview.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Thank you. So now for those that are just meeting you for the first time, how do you introduce those to who you are and the work that you do through Adorn and Taji?
So Adorned in Taji is essentially a sanctuary, right, for my royals, and that's what I call everybody who's inside of my space and interacts with my jewelry. So for our royals, it's really that space where if you're looking for intentional jewelry that not only amplifies your aesthetic but works with your spirit, right? Because I work with healing metals and crystals and using all of that to amplify how we're feeling and how we move throughout the world is like extremely intentional and extremely purposeful. So for me, like when people say, you look good, you feel good, and it sounds very cliche, but it's actually a mantra. So I feel like that's one of the base levels of the things that we do when we get adorned.
I love that. Ooh, I love it. So now you describe yourself as an alchemist and healing arts jeweler. What does that title mean to you?
So for me, the alchemy comes inside of energy transformation, right? So like I said, I work with a lot of healing crystals and metals and utilizing that to amplify and increase our frequencies. There's a lot going on in this world on a regular daily basis. And oftentimes some people can kind of get stuck in the spiral of focusing on that instead of focusing on the light and the positivity and the things that you want to aspire to in your life. And I feel like these are, not only is it actually working from the frequencies that were, the create when it was created inside of the earth, but they're reminders. Like when you look down, if I look down at my Ankh ring or at my malachite ring, I'm reminded of why I'm wearing it and how I want to move forward in life and how, intentional I just want to be in general. So it works both with our bodies, in terms of the frequencies, and also just with our minds and our spirits, reminding us of the things that we want to do and who we actually are.
Yes, and I love that, staying connected, because like you said, with everything that's going on in the world, girl, sometimes we do need those reminders to look down and be able to touch a crystal or touch, something that reminds you that it's okay.
Exactly.
It's okay. It's all good.
Get things regulated in here.
Yes, we have to do a quick check-in. So at what point in your life did you realize that this work was a calling and not just a creative outlet for you?
It kind of snuck up on me. So I started, I feel like there's a lot of touch points, right? So oftentimes you might look back in your life and you're like, oh, I didn't even realize like how that was going to lead me here, you know? So I was always an artist. I was always creative. I always wanted to work for myself, but that I didn't directly go into that, you know, like I went to college, I had jobs, I did the things. But eventually, my mother, who she dabbled in entrepreneurship when I was younger, wanted to get back into it when she was considering retirement. Because she was like, "Oh, this is ways that I can make extra income," and she wanted to make her ceramic jewelry. And then after a while, she was like, I also want to add like beads and those like kinds of earrings and things, so that she didn't always have to fire up her kiln to make the jewelry. And so she's like, come help me, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And I'm helping her. And I'm like, oh, this is really therapeutic. Like, I really enjoy this. And then one day I realized it was just me making it. And I'm like, hello, where you at, ma'am? Like, I got my own other businesses to run. Um, so that was the initial start of me actually getting into jewelry. And I didn't realize that a lot of the materials and beads that I was using were actual crystals. Like I like would read the package and see that it said rose quartz, but I'm like, oh, this is just like, like they're saying that because it's pink, not because that's what it actually is. But then I actually like sat with it and I was like, okay, wait, I actually like want to know more and learn more about crystals. Like I already knew like their benefits kind of sort of before I deep dived into like, the whole science of everything. And so I feel like slowly, like little touch points, like I feel like when I was 27, I had the mind shift change, that a lot of people go through when you're like, your eyes are kind of open to the world. And then like in my 30s, I'm like focused on, okay, well, longevity and, generational wealth and what are we going to do for the kids. And then in my 40s, it's just like, okay, it's time to just play and enjoy and create and be intentional about the things that I'm doing. So I feel like, all of those touch points kind of led me to where I'm at now and to feel like whole in the space and the things that I'm doing.
Now, you shared that your work was guided by your own healing journey. What did the season of healing teach you about yourself?
Ooh, a lot. Okay. So I'll give 2 points. So I was throughout most of my life, I had really severe eczema, and I don't mean like, oh, like the corner of my elbow itch. I mean like full bone, full body, was bedridden at times. The inflammation is showing everywhere. My face was like as white as a ghost. And um, that was a part of that started like my healing journey, because I was like, I can't keep living like this, right? Like there has to be something. And that led me down to plant-based alternatives, which is for me is even more than that. Like my diet has to be so strict just to keep me, in line and not have to worry about having inflammatory moments and things like that. So it started there. And then when and this was kind of happening slightly at the same time where I started to learn about the crystals and like what their purpose was and like how you can move and use them for your benefit. And so then that became the spiritual side of things, right? So now it's like, okay, well, I'm using the food and you can also use crystals as well to heal your physical body. So I was working with that. And then I was like, well, now I need to be working on my spiritual self as well, because I can't just be healed from the outside and not healed on the inside, because it's still going to show on the outside. So I can eat as green and clean as I want to, but if I'm not healing on the inside, then it's still going to show on the outside as well. And so I started utilizing crystals just to and other forms like sound healing and all these other great aspects, just to keep myself aligned and reminded. And especially as an artist, it's easy for us to go into depression, even in the cold and the winter seasons. That seasonal depression could just knock you on your behind. You'd be fine one day and the next day you're like, why, what's going on?
Where did it come from? Yeah.
So it taught me so much, just about like finding the things that make me happy. Even the small things, like on a day-to-day, like little things to look forward to, healthy things that I can look for mentally, like started training myself to watch things that were more healthy and beneficial for me, things that make me feel inspired or creative, instead of constantly focusing on whatever, they want me to listen to, and whatever the wheels that the media is, spinning and portraying, and finding truth and like loving and living inside of that truth. So that was the biggest part for me in terms of like my healing, was just really just finding that peace. I think that's like, now I know like soft life is like, one of the cliche, terms, but it's real, like we don't have to, life doesn't have to be hard.
That
We can
part.
enjoy it. You can have your abundance and your benefits on this plane as well. And I think we all deserve that.
I so appreciate you sharing that, because I went through a journey like that myself. But what triggered mine was the possibility they thought that I had breast cancer. And so
Mm.
when I had to go through the testing and everything, and thankfully I didn't have it, but
Mhm.
just the time period of going through all the testing and the different things you got to do to get cleared, honey, nothing makes you reevaluate
Yes.
reality in your life and just
Mhm.
everything in general. And so that's when I started getting more spiritual. That's when I
Mhm.
started not worrying about what other people thought about my spirituality, because I'm
Wow.
a Southern girl and
Mm.
grew up in church.
Mm.
So so my grandmother, I would see her mixing tonics and doing different things. She was still in church every Sunday. So I
Mhm.
didn't quite know like where that fit in. And then I was told that I was born with a veil over my face. So
Ooh.
here I
Get
am,
into it.
in and talking to dead people,
Mhm.
an overweight, chubby little girl. Interest. So I had all of these things that I thought were against me. And so when I went through that episode of that cancer scare, it was just me and God. It was just me and spirit. Like nobody else could help me, you know? And in that moment, girl, it's like he ripped that bandage off of my third eye, and it's been on and popping
Yes,
since. And
I
so
love that.
I just appreciate that, because in that I've been able to release 100 pounds on my own.
Ooh.
And that's from just healing, you know.
Yes.
And so I'm trying to release the rest of it, but it's not for the weak or the faint of heart. But I really, really just appreciate you sharing your story, because I think sometimes now it's so easy to be spiritual. It's
Mhm.
the end thing to do. But honey, doing that shadow work,
Yes, it's not
really,
it's no
really doing
easy
the work,
task.
it's
It's no easy
the faint of
task.
heart.
I think oftentimes we like to make it look cute, and that's fine. Things should be cute, but when you going deep down and you got to do that work and you got to be disciplined about it. There's days when, I just want a donut, but I know if I eat that donut, my eyes going to swell up and I'm going to feel it in my throat and I'm not going to be able to breathe. And now my stuff is blocked, so I have to, that discipline of not being able to do the things that I formerly thought that I had the freedom to do.
Mhm.
That in and of itself was just like, I'm kind of rebellious, so I don't like to be told that I can't do something. So when the doctor was like, "You're allergic to this and this and this and this and this and this," and I'm like, "Those are all my favorite foods," So like, and then that's the surface level of it, and then going into the spiritual side, I think a lot of times we don't give space for the duality. You can very well go to church and do your spiritual stuff on the side. Nobody said or do your spiritual stuff at the forefront and go to church on the side, or do both, running at the same time. I feel like whatever is fueling your spiritual journey that's healthy for you is all that matters. And I think a lot of times people are just like, it has to be this way, or you have to do it that one way. And I feel like there is no one way. We are all multidimensional individual beings with different things going on. So there is no one right path or one right way to do things. And I feel like that was another thing that I had to eventually come upon inside of my own journey, because I wasn't an ingrained church girl, but I went to church, and there was
Mhm.
just certain things about church that didn't sit right with me. And then as I got older and realizing, taking the things that we hear about church, and like the cattiness and the some of the hate things that we hear that are supposedly of God, right?
Yeah.
Which no, some man wrote that somewhere, and human wrote that somewhere and said this is what it's going to be. But anyway, we're told all of these things, and that then gave me sort of a disdain for the church. And it was like, I'm never going in there, and I had all these feelings. And then as I got older and I'm coming into my own, and I'm realizing, like, picking pieces from different, practices and making them my own thing, I'm like, well, not all things of the church are bad. And if some people just kind of let go of these things that actually don't serve the church, it would be great, So I'm like, it's you can do both, in knowing that the kind of person that you are, like the things that you're practicing, knowing that there's no hate for other people or other things or other practices. I think that's one of the most, for me, one of the biggest parts of my spiritual journey was realizing that no matter how you practice, as long as it's forward and healing and with a higher vibration, that's really what's important.
Yes. And also, too, there's nothing wrong with connecting to your ancestors. That's look, we could have a show just talking about that. And I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but I know that connecting to your ancestors is a big part of what you do with creating your jewelry. And I just wanted to say that out loud. Like, there's nothing wrong with connecting with your ancestors,
Yes. And I feel like for me, so a lot of the women in my family they live long. It's longevity, right? Like, even now, my grandmothers are still alive and kicking, and they're 92. But I speak oftentimes to the men in my family, but they were always my protectors and my guides anyway. So it's for me, it's having that connection and that calling and that feeling like there's somebody there that I know that when they were here in this life, they were looking after me, and I know that they're still looking after me. Is one of the sort of it's like that security blanket, it just makes you feel good. It makes you know that, okay, even if this time is hard right now, I'm not alone in getting through all the things that I'm getting through. And even going back to what you were saying about how you were born with a veil, so was my grandmother, and she had hers removed. But it's like finding out so many things about your things that go through your DNA, right? Because that was another thing, like, I didn't know all of the setups. Like, I was obsessed with New Orleans and didn't know why. I was like, why am I continuously called to this space and place? And then my husband and I went early on in our relationship. It was not too long after Katrina, so our trip got cut short. We were only allowed to stay for a day. They were like, there's a hurricane warning, everybody got to get out. And we were like, what? And so we had the time of our lives, right? And so we kept saying, we're going to go back, we're going to go back, we're going to go back. And then maybe almost a decade later, we finally go back. And I remember talking to my grandmother, and she's like, why are y'all obsessed with that place? And then I come to find out that my great grandmother was from Louisiana. And I'm like, what? How am I just finding this out, in my like mid to late 30s? And then realizing that was probably what the calling was and what the connection was. It was family from there that was like, hey, I know it's going through generations and they've been trying to ignore us, but you're listening. So we're trying to give it to you.
Like, you are the one that's open. You are the one that's ready to receive.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing that they picked you,
Yes. And I feel honored, and it also feels very validating, because sometimes you can feel crazy. You're like, I know there's something there, but I can't pinpoint it. I can't place it. Like, why is this? I'm constantly drawn to something. I'm constantly thinking about something. And then you receive the answer, and then it's like everything clicks. Everything makes sense.
Yes. Thank you, honey, for confirming that, because sometimes it can be a lonely path. You have to have a good support system as you're navigating spiritually, because you do feel like you're crazy. How do you explain to somebody else that your grandmother wants me to tell you that blah, blah, blah is in the closet? And I know a lot of my friends was like, I've known you for your whole life and you've never said it, blah, blah, blah. I never knew anything about it. That's because you know how to keep stuff hidden. once you are fully in your power and in yourself, like we both are now, ain't no stopping us now, honey. I can't hide. I refuse.
Mhm. Yeah, I was saying I don't want to
That's
hide.
right. So, what was the moment when you knew your jewelry carried energy and intention, not just beauty?
Honestly, it was seeing how my royals were responding to it, how they lit up, how they would come back and tell me stories, of it makes them feel when they put it on. Like just from putting it on, not even going out and receiving the compliments yet, just putting it on, looking in the mirror and feeling that elevation in themselves. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I appreciate that. I received that, and then going even further like into the the healing side of it, and it does heal you when you're coming across as your best self,
Mhm.
when you're showing up as true as you are, and like you said, no care about what anybody else has to say or think about who you are. There's it's almost unstoppable. Like there's nothing that anybody can do or say to you that's going to make you feel any kind of way. And then when you're walking inside of that space, that's when you're able to then attract all the things that you want, inside of your life. So,
And the
that
attraction
was
alignment is real.
yes.
So, how do you stay aligned with your purpose while running a business in today's world? Like, especially the climate that we're in, especially because sometimes people like, well, oh, because you believe this, you believe that is evil of the devil, or we're all going to hell. Or how do you deal with that?
So I like recently I've been seeing memes that say like Delulu is the Salulu. You really do have to be your faith has to be absolutely strong. You just have to know that um, this if this feels right to me, then this is the thing that I need to be doing, that I need to keep pushing forward in. And even sometimes when I don't see, it's entrepreneurship. So the real is I could have tons of orders one week and it could be completely dry the next week, but I have to have that confidence that we're still pushing forward for the week after that, that this business is going to thrive and be successful. And then even sometimes when I might be feeling down, the universe will come through and I'll get a review on my site of somebody saying a story similar to what I just said. So I always receive those little moments, those little lights where even if I'm kind of feeling a certain kind of way, it's like, nope, 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 we're not doing that. Get back on the ball, find your creativity, find your inspiration. You're doing this for a reason, you're doing this for a purpose. There are people out there who need what you're doing, and they need you the way that you're doing it, because there's hundreds of thousands of jewelers in this world, but people are gravitating toward me and toward my jewelry and my style and the way that I do things, and I can't ever take that for granted. And to the other side of your point, I don't really care. I don't care if people feel like it's whatever demonic or I'm going to hell or above. I don't believe in any of that. So you can't put that on me. You can't play something on my spirit that has nothing to do with me.
Yes, I love that. You often say it's more than fashion, it's a frequency. Can you
Mhm.
explain what that means for someone new to intentional dormant?
Yeah. So, okay. So we'll go into a little bit of the science. Um, So, specifically with crystals and metals, they come from the earth, right? And the earth vibrates at a certain frequency. And that frequency is standard across the board. There's nothing that can be done to change that frequency. Us as humans, we also vibrate at a frequency, but our frequency is affected by anything and everything.
Yes.
So, so that's going back to, if am I watching a show that's healing my spirit, or am I watching a show that's impacting or afflicting my spirit? All of these things that are being taken inside of our minds, all of that is now going to affect the way that I'm vibrating. I can then go back to my crystals to help realign my frequency, because they're always vibrating at the frequency that we need to be uh, elevated higher and in line with what our Earth's core, with our natural energy is. And so that's why when I say it's more than fashion, it's frequency. But we can get into the fashion, right? We can get into the I love the way it looks and the look good, it feels good, and that's excellent. But then we can also remember that when we're wearing these crystals or when we're wearing these metals, they're working for us, even if we're not thinking about it, even if we're not, on the 24/7 of like, oh yes, my copper is doing this and my gold and silver are doing that, my brass is doing blah blah. It's still working even when we're not thinking about it.
I love that. So now when it comes to your pieces, how do you intuitively create your different pieces and different styles?
So um, and this is oftentimes when I say I'm working with spirit, because sometimes I don't know where the design comes from. I'll sit there and I'll think of something, and then in my mind it starts creating or forming, or things are getting added, or I'm like, okay, that looks good, but something about it feels like it needs something else, and then it just comes. Oftentimes I'm still inspired by our community. I'm inspired by the things that we create. I'm inspired by things that have been traditionally ours. I am a child of hip hop, so I am inspired by that, So, especially as a native New Yorker, that is my general style. That's almost my everyday style is 90s hip hop. So those are the things that really I feel like move my my design style. Even the way, I have a very maximalist style when it comes to like my rings and my jewelry. So when I say I'm a child of hip hop, this is how it comes through and this is what it looks like. But then I'm also a child of spirit, so now I'm making sure that the symbolism and the crystals and the designs all work inside of that as well. So, sometimes I'll use sacred symbols. You'll see triangles in a lot of my work. You'll see spirals in a lot of my work. And I really try to keep it intentional where when we look at my jewelry, we see us.
So now pouring all of that love and good energy and stuff into your jewelry, how do you protect your energy? Is it ever a time when you feel like you give too much of it away? Because I find that I have to, even with being an intuitive reader and life coach and stuff, it's easy to give too much away. So I'm learning my boundaries and sticking to them. So what do you do to protect your energy while you're pouring so much of it out?
I make sure that I'm replenishing. So even if I pour and like you, I tend to over pour. I make sure I go back and get replenished. And I think that when we often talk about rest, especially working for yourself, it feels like you're never off the clock. And I had to learn to be very intentional about resting, taking a break. And even now, it's not easy for me. Like there is no level of mastery that I have reached for this. It is not easy for me. Every time I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna just sit and eat. Like, and now I specifically say, okay, I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna eat and I'm gonna watch my shows. And I feel very much like my grandmothers when I say that, but that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sit and I'm eating, I'm gonna watch my stories, whatever those stories may be for me on that day. But that's also me taking rest, because normally I'm eating and I'm still on my laptop and I'm still working and I'm still thinking of, all the other aspects, because when you're a business owner, there's 100 hats that you're wearing. It's never just about the design or just about the creation. I also have to find a way to make sure that people see it, but I had to be like, okay, no, you have to take breaks. I At one point I started to give myself, like an 11 to 5 time bracket to work, and it felt great. And I probably should really get back to doing that. you know? But it's like whatever you have to do to pour into yourself, to give yourself rest, to give yourself time to replenish other things that you have to do. Like the self-care things are important. I'll find myself being like, oh, I have to do my nails, or I have to do my hair, and I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. And now it's 3 weeks later and everything is holding on by a thread, instead of I could have just did it when I had the thought. So that's another level for me, is making sure that I don't do the ADD procrastination type thing, because then that becomes that's another weight, when you're pushing things off. And now instead of just doing it at the time, instead of having 10 things to do, you now have 20 things to do. And now everything just feels super heavy. And it's like, oh, how do I get out of this? So taking care of things and resting are, and within balance for both of those things are what's important.
Girl, everything you just said resonated. It was just like, when they say sometimes when you're giving advice and you end up realizing that the advice was for you. That's exactly how I was feeling. So now, what has this journey of creativity taught you about womanhood and self-worth?
Ooh, I feel like I've definitely dived more into um, my divine feminine, as we say. I feel like I was always, innately rougher. I was always running with the boys. I was always outside. We playing the sports and we doing the things. I was daddy's girl, like whatever we wanted to do, But inside of this journey, I feel like I'm able to be a glossy goddess. I'm able to walk on that side of things. Um, I wear beautiful printed skirts more, things like that where, and when I do, it makes me feel beautiful. It makes me feel lovely. It's helped me connect because especially when you're working within your chakra alignments, I'm connecting more to my root chakra as well as my sacral chakra, and that's where your creation happens. And if that's blocked, then I can't create any of this, So um, I feel like for me, and that's often why I wear red and green are like my go-to color. So I'm working inside my heart chakra and I'm working inside my root chakra a lot. But then recently I've also added orange in there to work with inside of my creative space as well. And I'm just like, to me, it just makes me feel so much more whole, so much more womanly. I'm moving inside of that creative and that divine energy, and the flow is just I don't think I really even have the words to describe how it just makes me feel.
I was going to say it's beautiful and you wear it well. You're doing a good
I
job. You really
appreciate that.
So now in this moment, and all of the healing jewelry and everything that you're making, what does healing look like for you in this chapter? You've gone through a lot of changes, a lot of growth. We can always still grow some more.
Mhm.
We got a lot of boxes checked off. So what does it look like for you in this moment?
I feel like healing is eternal. I feel like there's always going to be some level and some form of healing and growth that we're going to aspire to, especially once we reach, different desires and different goals in life. Everything comes with some lesson, right? So for me right now, the healing is being okay with the lessons and not looking at them as um, punishment, really. Because I feel like, sometimes it's uh like let's say if I'm like, oh, I want to purchase this thing for my business and it's thousands of dollars, and I'm like, why don't I have the thousands of dollars to buy it? I should and it's like, okay, well, how do we get there? What are the steps that we can do to achieve this, instead of looking at it as if somebody did something wrong to me, or I'm being punished for the fact that I can't just do the things that I want to do off the bat automatically. Realizing that there's beauty inside of the journey, especially the uh, for me, jewelry, like, because I've gone through all of the levels of creating jewelry. So I started as a beader, and then I went into wire wrapping, and then I moved into metal smithing and wax carving. And I'm like, if I would have jumped straight into metal smithing, it would have been great. But having all of those um, other parts of jewelry design and creation first, I feel makes my metalsmithing even more well-rounded, because there's a certain level of design and creativity and uh, just like handcrafting that you have to, the way that it wires your brain to then be able to create other designs. I feel like I, all of that journey had to happen in order for me to create and do the things that I make now. And so I feel like for me the healing is just being okay with the lessons, being okay with wherever I'm at right now, not being stressed, which used to that was another thing. The stress was, it was the monkey on the back at all times, so realizing that even if things don't look exactly how I want it to right now, releasing the perfectionism.
Yes.
Even if
Yes.
it doesn't look
Yes.
exactly how I need it to right now, it's okay. We're getting there. We're working toward it. As long as we're doing a little something, those small steps are then going to lead to that large goal. And sitting and being okay inside of that. I think that's the healing part that I'm at right now, is like these things are okay. Like, you are fine, you are safe. Nobody's attacking you, nobody is trying to harm you just because you can't do all the things, or you might not be in all the places, or your life might not look like somebody's Instagram life, which is probably not even their real life.
In the
Doesn't mean
first
that things are
place.
wrong. Doesn't mean that things are wrong in your life. Like, you're gonna get there, you're gonna achieve the things that you want. Just keep trying, just keep working. Specifically for the business side of it, putting in those 10,000 hours of creation that leads to the mastery of certain things. Like, you're getting there, you're putting in the work, and that's what's important.
Yes, and I think to just sum that up with a nice bow is us being able to feel safe and trust in the process.
Yes,
That was
exactly.
the hardest thing for me, girl, was trusting the process, because I needed to know why and when and it's going to happen, and I needed to know it all. But now,
I
just
need the details, write it out for me.
but to be able to sit, honey, and just be like, okay,
And be okay with that.
now they look at you like crazy now, because they know how we used to be and having to have all those little details. But now I'm just like, okay. And they're looking like, no, I said XYZ, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
It's wonderful. It is wonderful. So what message do you hope that women receive when they adorn themselves in your jewelry?
That everything you already need is already within you. Everything that you are aspiring to do and aspiring to be, the things that you need to achieve it is already there within you. You would not have these thoughts or these dreams or these goals if you could not achieve them. You just have to continuously keep believing in yourself. And I feel like again, jewelry is ritual for me. So when you're getting adorned, you are further stepping into that part of yourself in however it looks for you.
Yes. So when you think about legacy, what do you want adorned Intashi to represent for future generations?
Ooh, so I'm big on the Afro and the futurism. So even I say that my jewelry kind of is ancient futuristic, because especially with my metalsmithing, I feel like a lot of my jewels kind of look like they were summoned from the depths of the ocean.
They really do.
Thank you.
Yes, they honestly do.
Maybe somebody dug it out of the sand in the beach somewhere, but then also the design elements are forward thinking, and with just how it's not necessarily traditional, and especially not as far as the jewelry design world is. So that's essentially the legacy that I would love to people to continuously feel, is that it is both ancient and it's both future, and you can walk back and forth through those portals as many times as you need to grab what you need to achieve the things that you want to in the current.
Yes, and I love that, because guys, that's exactly how her jewelry is. I mean, I'm going to have her give you the website in just a few minutes, but immediately when I first, and this has been a couple of years ago, when I first found you and started following you, immediately I felt queen. I felt Africa. I felt regal. I felt like, oh wow, I got to figure out let me look a little bit more into this. It's like you sit up a little bit prouder, it's just the presence. And yeah, so I agree with that completely. And I want you guys to support her and go to the website, because her jewelry truly, truly is all of that. And you guys know I'm a little bougie, but Every piece that she makes, I'm co-signing it because it's beautiful, it's ancient, it's now, it's hip hop, it's
Yes.
eccentric, it's love.
It's love. Yes.
Like
Thank
a
you.
love letter to our ancestors in so
Hmm.
many ways. So I
Absolutely.
really, really love
I
that.
received
So
that. Thank you.
as we are coming to a close, I want you to finish this sentence for me.
Hmm.
Adornment becomes sacred when.
Ooh, adornment becomes sacred when you can feel it and not just see it.
Yes, yes. And that's
Hmm.
power.
Hmm.
And also, too, I feel like another disclaimer that I want to give about your jewelry is that it invokes you wanting to know more. To
Yes.
me, when
Yes.
I first started going through the website and looking at all your pieces, it made me want to look up. Okay, well, what does this shape mean? I know what the cross is, but what does this?
Hmm.
And just kind of go down a rabbit hole. So thank you
Love
so
that.
much.
I love the information, searching. That makes me feel great. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for your creativity. I appreciate it so much. Now, please let everybody know where they can find your beautiful jewelry.
Yes, so my shop is adornedintaji.com. I am at adornedintaji on all platforms, and definitely please come check out the shop. I also have a lot of amazing articles that speak about the different types of metals and crystals. There's a crystal glossary. We also talk about healing herbs and the medicinal and spiritual benefits of all the things.
Yes, guys, it's truly a one-stop shop. So, as we close this conversation with Nay Marie, I hope you feel inspired to see adornment, not just as jewelry, but as sacred, intentional practice that uplifts, heals, and aligns with your own power. Her work is a beautiful reminder that when creativity meets purpose, culture, and healing, we honor not just ourselves, but the generations that came before us. And her jewelry does that. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Nay
Thank you
Marie.
so much, Myra. This was beautiful. Thank you so much, sis.
Yes, sharing your wisdom and your artistry and your heart. And to everyone listening, may you carry this energy forward with you intentionally, powerfully, and unapologetically. Until next time, this has been Moments with Myra.
Believe, believe, yeah. Don't forget to smile. Don't forget to shine. Remember, baby girl, don't let them take away. You will always rise, 'cause there will always be brighter days, brighter days, brighter days. When they bring you down, and they will bring you down, remember, my black child, it will be okay. Know who you are, know who you really are, know what you can be, what you can really be, where you wanna go, where you wanna grow, 'cause you ought to know how special you can be. Save us, 'cause you know, yeah, you know, oh, that this world holds something for you. So save us, 'cause you know, I need you. Save us, 'cause you know, yeah, you know, oh, that this world holds something for you. So save us, 'cause you know, I need you.
I believed that if I tried, I could succeed. That's on my mind. I had a dream when I was 5. I lived a life without no crime. I had no worries about no job in real life. I keep an eye and gotta fight to get what's mine. mind, they say keep quiet, no I cannot. Hearing voices in my mind, they tell me shoot before you fire. Say I'm ruthless, but I stupid, said too much truth up in my rhymes. Remember fighting with my moms, but she made sure I ain't end up fighting for no time. Bring my life, they say it's fire, you won't be free until you die. Gotta read between their lies, can't be woke and stay quiet. Can't hope and not try. I was blinded by their fears till I opened my eyes. Don't be feeling like you Jesus, cause you died for these guys. I was focused on the money, now I'm trying to stay alive. Only give you bro roses when you see your homie die. Spread love instead of hate, you feel the pain in every line. Better watch how you live, cause how you live is how you die.
Save us, cause you know, yeah, you know, oh, that this world holds something for you. So save us, cause you know, I need you. Save us, cause you know, yeah, you know, oh, that this world holds something for you. So say